Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Oh, hello, good evening. It's the beginning of another week. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Anuyusabata Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, an interagency board led by the Ghana's National Security Coordinator and supported by the United States investigators begins a probe into the fatal Z9 helicopter crash and expected to complete their work in 30 days. We ask some critical questions tonight. Stay with us. Also, as the clock ticks towards the September 2 Akwatia by-election, election security has become a top priority for law enforcement agencies determined to ensure a peaceful process. We assess the measures in place here on Ghana Tonight. Also, violent clashes in Benyere in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region, leaving at least 10 people dead and several persons injured. Tensions remain high as security forces intervene to restore calm in the area. But we're getting some fresh information that the residents in this area are fleeing the town as a result of this renewed clashes, as it's a protracted conflict over a land dispute, and this is one that we're going to sink our teeth into a bit further here on Ghana Tonight. It's always an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
The Ministry of Defense has announced that the board probing the recent Z9 helicopter crash has officially begun work, chaired by the National Security Coordinator. It includes representatives from the Ghana Air Force and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority's Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation Bureau, with technical support from the visiting U.S. Air Force investigators. A preliminary team formed on August 6, the day of the crash, is expected to present its findings today. The board has 30 days to complete its inquiry. Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, is confident that the National Democratic Congress will secure victory in the upcoming Akwatia by-election. He noted that the party is determined to honor the late Defense Minister and NDC's Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, who he says before his passing spearheaded strategies. He was speaking to the media on his sidelines of President Mahama's state visit to Singapore.
We all miss Dr. Omane-Boamah. Indeed, we do know that before he passed, rather unceremoniously and so tragically, he had begun to lay down the block works for resounding victory in Akwatia. So in his memory, we will carry out the plans as he laid out, and we'll build upon it. We'll add more impetus to it and ensure that we fine-tune it to deliver victory for us in Akwatia, so that the same benefits that all constituencies that are being properly represented in Parliament are deriving will be derived by the people of Akwatia. So we are confident of victory.
Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has reiterated calls for political parties to abide by electoral rules to ensure a smooth and peaceful by-election in Akwatia. To that end, the final Inter-Party Advisory Committee IPAC meeting is scheduled for this week, where political parties are expected to reaffirm their commitment to a peaceful process. The Eastern Regional Election Director John Apiabafo urged political parties to play by the rules to safeguard the integrity and peace of the electoral process.
We, the Electoral Commission, we don't have interest in who wins the elections. Our common interest is to organize free, fair and peaceful elections, and that is all that we want to have. So we entreat all the political parties also to comport themselves, conform to the rules, so that at the end we shall all have the peaceful elections that we are yearning for.
The leadership of NAT and NAGRAT is urging parents affected by the cancellation or withholding of their children's examination results by the West African Examination Council to take swift legal action. The pre-tertiary teacher unions made it clear that justice must not be delayed. General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Tanko Musa, is demanding clarity from WAEC on how the alleged malpractices were detected and verified.
WAEC is saying that they detected during the conduct of the examination and marking. Fine. So the evidence you have that you detected during the conduct of the exam and the marking, should any parent go to court today, kindly provide the evidence, and it should be competent one, of course. And like I said, I pray that this time WAEC will not lose this case, because you see, if WAEC should lose the 2 times on a row, then no, WAEC will suffer credibility crisis.
Policy Advisor on Political Affairs at the Office of the Vice President, Samuel Ofusu Ampafo, says Ghana is well positioned to lead the continent in digital trade. Speaking on behalf of the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, at the ICT Week event in Accra, Dr. Ofusu Ampafo noted the 24-hour economy policy and the 1 million coders project are initiatives that could place Ghana firmly at the forefront of Africa's digital future.
We are rapidly expanding our national fiber optics backbone and broadband network, ensuring that high-speed internet reaches schools, hospitals, businesses, homes across the country. This is closing the urban-rural digital divide and unlocking new opportunities for inclusive growth.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live as well on TV3 Ghana on YouTube, as well as on Facebook and on X, and also on DSTV channel 279. We're live on 3FM 92.7. It's always brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil, Comtutum Preco. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, we go straight into the Akwatia constituency. That's coming up next, because we're building up strongly to that by-election in the Akwatia constituency. September 2 is the date to watch. The Akwatia by-election fast approaching. We have security agencies. They're ramping up efforts to guarantee a peaceful vote What measures are being put in place? There's a lot that's happening in the run-up to the Akwatia by-election. Stay with us here on your Election Command Center right now, because the Electoral Commission has reiterated calls for political parties to abide by electoral rules to ensure a smooth and peaceful by-election in the Akwatia constituency. To that end, the final Inter-Party Advisory Committee, that's the IPAC meeting, is scheduled for this week, where political parties are expected to reaffirm their commitment to a peaceful process in that particular by-election. Let's hear from the Electoral Commission on their preparation ahead of this crucial Akwatia by-election, which will see, at least for now, what we do know, the LPG, Liberal Party Ghana, that's Kofi Akpaloo's party, the MPP and the NDC would have their candidate on the ballot paper. The Action People's Party, they are contesting, or they intend to contest this matter. We understand they've served the Electoral Commission of their intentions to, as it were, test the law on why their candidate was disqualified by the Electoral Commission. So as we do know, there are 3 candidates, 3 political parties taking part in this by-election in the Akwatia constituency. But this is the Electoral Commission of preparedness. Take a look.
As for the elections, as I'm talking now, the ballot papers have been printed, and if you dispatch them to Akwatia, the other election material like the ballot boxes, all of them have been labeled. The materials needed, all of them have been sent to them. And then we do our packaging on Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday, we transport everything to the polling station for the smooth conduct of the elections. So I would say that commission is fully prepared. What we are left with is the training of the election officials. And from Tuesday going, we are going there to do the grassroots training for all the election officials for the conduct of the by-elections. You know, we, the Electoral Commission, we don't have interest in who wins the elections. Our common interest is to organize free, fair, and peaceful elections. And that is all that we want to have. So we entreat all the political parties also to comport themselves, conform to the rules, so that at the end, we shall all have the peaceful elections that we are yearning for. We've been engaging the political parties. Our head office held an IPAC meeting with all the political parties, and they discussed the process of the by-elections. The region too, we are going to have a IPAC meeting with the political parties at Akwatia, maybe on Wednesday, and we are also going to discuss the process. So we'll be engaging them. Our advice is that elections are governed by rules and regulations. So we expect all the political parties to abide and respect the laws. And if they respect the laws, then we are going to have the free, fair, and the peaceful elections that we are all yearning.
Also, that's John Apia Bafo. He is the Eastern Regional Election Director for the Electoral Commission, talking to my colleague Yvonne Nikwe in the Akwatia constituency. But beyond the preparation by the electoral body, the Ghana Police Service has also heightened security at Akwatia and its environs ahead of the election, this by-election. An intensified operation in the last week has resulted in arrest and retrieval of guns from suspects. Now, some of them very sophisticated. We're going to show you the videos, in fact, the pictures of what the police itself put out. The Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission has declared Akwatia a no-go area for any form of weapons. But this is what you're seeing on the screen there. Beyond some of them being locally manufactured, others as well, sophisticated weapons we're seeing that were retrieved from some 4 persons who were arrested by the Ghana Police Service. And this is what the Small Arms Commission is saying, that any persons arrested will be prosecuted immediately. And we're going to be hearing from the Executive Secretary of the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission shortly. But this is what really proposes that serious concern ahead of this crucial Akwatia by-election. And this is what the Ghana Police Service itself put out, that was yesterday. And these weapons you're seeing include 8 pump action guns and 1 locally manufactured single barrel gun, These seizures form part of the intensified efforts to prevent any form of violence in this by-election ahead of us. And so this is it. This is what the Ghana Police Service put out earlier to give some more detail on this. These guns that you're seeing were headed to Akwatia. 10 suspects have been arrested. These are some of the so far 10 suspects arrested. Some of them we just showed you their blurred that's their faces in the images that we put out there. And then so far 9 weapons have also been retrieved. That's some 8 pump action guns, 1 locally manufactured single barrel gun. And these were, according to the police statement, different dates that these interceptions were made. On the 22nd of August, the police intercepted a vehicle driven by suspect Bernard Kumi Ofosu near St. Dominic Hospital in Akwatia. A search led to the discovery of pump-action gun and cartridges. The suspect provided valid license. Investigations are ongoing. And the same day, 22nd of August, a separate operation at Akwatia Y Junction, suspect Joshua Amenuku, after retrieving 15 live BB cartridges from him, a pump-action gun subsequently retrieved from his residence. So bear in mind, this is at least over the last 10 days, the police has been on some very, very serious intelligence-led operation. On 23rd of August, the next day, one other person, Peterson Joseph, arrested at Bwedua Livingston Junction, pump-action gun and cartridges retrieved as well. Suspect Stephen Inkansa, same day, found with pump-action guns at Esamankese direction towards Bwedua as well. Then you have all these. So there were these 4 separate incidents, key, that led to these guns being retrieved. Then we're going to put the pictures of these guns right on the screen as well. So you get to see the sophisticated nature of these weapons and how the police got to retrieve them in 4 separate incidents, and intelligence-led 2 separate days with two separate incidents on each day as well. Now, it points to a particular direction as to what is happening, especially regarding the preparation ahead of this Akwatia by-election. And Dr. Adam Boda is the Executive Secretary of the National Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission, is joining us via Zoom. Dr. Boda, good evening. Thank you for joining us. And I'm looking at the sophisticated nature of these weapons. Quite troubling, to say the least, is it not? And look where it's headed towards Akwatia. And it appears quite clearly that the police's by-election installations is doing some work, especially 10 days ahead of this election, and we are seeing such interceptions. Doc.
Yeah, correct. Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, I believe that, sometimes our citizens will take things for granted. And so when these meetings were held amongst the political parties and the security agencies, i.e. the police and the rest, some of them took things for granted and thought that nothing was going to happen. Is the usual rhetorics, and nothing was going to happen. We went out there also sensitizing the general public, especially around that enclave. The Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission, we did a lot of sensitization, letting people know that that area effectively has been declared a red zone, and therefore those who are minded to take weapons there should bear in mind that they are going to be arrested and prosecuted. It doesn't matter if the weapon is licensed or not. It doesn't matter if it's licensed or not once the place is declared a red zone, because having a license is a privilege. And so if you are told that even though you have a license, that weapon should not stray into that area, you must as well abide by the license, or else the license could be revoked, or you could be arrested together with the license and the weapon. Some people thought they could sneak in there with the weapons. And so I'm sure what you are broadcasting, those who are watching us definitely will know that some work has gone in there. And kudos to the sister security agency, the police, for a good job done. And as we speak, there are some more seizures that has taken place. Some seizures has taken place. They've seized, some more weapons have been seized. And so I'm sure at the right time, all this is likely to be put out there. And some of these people think that once you have a license to bear firearm, and you have been told that don't stray, don't move with your firearm into a certain area, you can do that. You do that, you are going to be found wanting, and that is what is going on. And, some large, munitions and all that have been seized. And so, Alfred, what you are reporting is accurate, but some more seizures have taken place again. And so I would want to reiterate that those who think that they could sneak into Akwatia between now, or they've sneaked in already, you'll be fetched out. But those who want to sneak in now, between now and D-Day, they will be fetched out and prosecuted according to the law. And so we need to be careful what we are doing, the firearms we are carrying. You saw our release, I think, yesterday, that caution that those who want, don't go there with pepper spray. Do not go there with tasers. When I say tasers, they call them shockers in the country, but they are tasers. Shockers or tasers. Don't go there with machetes. Don't go there with sharp implements.
Right.
If you are caught with
but if they were machetes and others, if they were machetes, well, that raises concern. But you're also looking at the sophisticated nature of these weapons that have been intercepted. These are weapons that you don't come cheap, is it not?
Well, no, it tells you, at the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission, we have a bill that is pending before my minister's office, the Honorable Minister's office. It's gone round and is now back at his ministry, pending to go to the Honorable Attorney General's office for some work to be done before hopefully it goes to cabinet and then hopefully go to parliament for it to be passed into law. Listen, we have gone beyond probably just illicit weapons in the hands of people, and I'm not frightening anybody. In the past, we didn't put in enough measures, and so every Tom, Dick, and Harry in this country, in Ghana, wants to own a weapon, and those who wanted to own them have owned them, some of them legitimately, some of them illegitimate, some of them have expired licenses. And so, yes, I'm sure once the bill is passed, Alfred, we are going to, carefully retrieve all these weapons. And there is something that is pending before the Honorable Minister's office. I don't want to preempt, but then next month, in fact, just next month, is the AU Amnesty Month. And the Small Arms Board, the board of the National Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission, has made some recommendations to the minister, hoping that we are going to have a situation where we could have some amnesty. If we have some amnesty, that would help us to have citizens who have weapons that they are not supposed to be keeping. Some people have died. That is how serious this whole issue about weapons are. Some people have died, and these weapons are tucked in various corners in kitchens, in storerooms, and those who probably are harboring them don't know where to take them. But hopefully when we have an amnesty granted, they will surrender these weapons so that they don't end up, falling into the wrong hands. And once they surrender them, usually what happens is that we destroy them. Once you surrender them, they are destroyed. And so the sophistication, what you are seeing, Alfred, this is just a tip of the iceberg. You ask every patrol, team member of the Ghana Police Service or any of the security agencies, the military and the rest, and they will tell you how sophisticated weapons, those who have them are. You go to Boko, why do you think the fight in fighting the conflict in Boko has become increasingly difficult? Because you have too many weapons in the hands of people. But
the proliferation of
being done to retrieve them.
Perfect. So, and that's one that falls directly on your lap, the dealing with the proliferation of small arms as Executive Secretary. But maybe briefly, because you, in your statement, you're urging political parties or the political actors, party leaders, supporters, to adhere to the law, refrain from any actions that would incite or promote violence, including wielding weapons non-lethal or non-lethal illegally. Now, if you hear, for instance, the concern that some of the political parties have raised. This is Haruna Mohammed, the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, spoke via Joy News, said, we have heard that they're going to, in fact, they've sewn some uniforms for their security persons to go to Akwatia and cause mayhem. They should not bring people in the name of security, put uniforms on them, arm them to move around. We're very aware and we know the uniforms they are going to use. Already there's that lack of trust for the state security in going into this. And the parties say they reserve the right to have their own security as well. So how do you then marry this call you're making with the parties now talking about their right to also have their own security, private security going into this election?
Vigilance is, I think we should all be vigilant. But saying that you are going to have your own private security, I'm not too sure whether that will be the law on vigilantism and other offences act would allow anyone to have such a thing as a political party. That was outlawed under the previous administration. And I have heard, I think the gentleman, the Haruna Mohammed, I think I heard him, I spoke to Joy also this evening. And I'm wondering, because then since this administration took over, not a single police officer has been recruited. Every police officer was inherited by this administration. And therefore, could it be that the tens of thousands of police officers who were recruited and, given the wrong uniforms to go and foment trouble because the previous administration actually thought that, unfortunately, we were going to have the then MP passing on? I don't think so. And so I think that the police is doing very well. Security agencies are doing very well. And so to have political actors speak this way, sometimes 6-7 months out of office, and when you speak this way, when no single recruitment has taken place, for me, it beats my imagination to say that the police service that we all know that has been inherited, this administration inherited almost immediately, is the worst police service that anyone can talk about. Alfred, that can never be true. Okay. The police service is doing it well. The Small Arms Commission, before today, how many people knew of the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission? I mean, we have all been empowered to do what we have to do. Right. And so my thing is that, bottom line, do not send weapons to lethal and non-lethal weapons to Akwatia. Okay. I think there are no excuses. Anyone who does that, it doesn't matter. You will be arrested and prosecuted. Do not send weapons. I think that the rhetoric must stop by our politicians. Okay. It's just one constituency election, and I don't think that we have to kill one another because of Akwatia. I don't think so. So whoever is talking should be mindful. Don't take weapons. If you do, you will be arrested and prosecuted.
And a crucial one is that. I thank you so much for joining us. And Dr. Adam Bona, thank you for joining us. He's the Executive Secretary of the Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, there's another violent situation that we've been following quite closely over the last at least 24 hours, and that's coming up next here on Ghana Tonight. At least 10 people have been confirmed dead and several others injured following violent clashes in Benyeri, this is a farming community in the Sola Tuna Kalba district. As tensions run high, security forces move in to restore calm, but women and children are fleeing the area. And that's the latest to this rather unfortunate development in that particular area. And the news that we are hearing now is that women and children are fleeing the Benyeri community, that is the farming community in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region. DCE for the area, Saka Sinkina, described the situation as unfortunate. Take a look at this.
Groups running away to down south, vehicles are being running away, people are running, women and children have been displaced, a lot of persons are leaving the town to down south. Yes, it's an unfortunate development, and there is the urgent need to do something. All these people you can see are people waiting for cars at the Sola police station, trying very hard to run away. A lot of displaced people, And there is the need to put in urgent measures to calm the situation. It is a very sad situation. Very, very sad situation. Yeah. In fact, we need more security men. You can see people displayed, people who doesn't know their whereabouts, means of transport, people are stranded, a lot of, you can see children. It is a very sad situation. Most of them have not eaten since morning. They are stranded. The police station is choked to capacity. People have not eaten. There are no sleeping places. Though a lot of military men have been displaced, most of them, women and children. It is a very bad situation. Some are inside the bush, most of them. It is not a pleasant situation. Conflict, indeed, is not a pleasant situation. More deployment have been done. And you can see the police just searching through a vehicle to find out what is inside the vehicle.
Put your hand on that.
All these people are people who are willing, standing by the roadside, looking for cars to pass away. It's a terrible situation. It's a terrible situation. It is a terrible situation. Mattresses are being brought to the police station to give to some of the officers who have traveled from far.
So let's stay on there, because these are videos that came through just around 10 p.m., just some 30 minutes ago. So what you're seeing is fresh on the plate. What's happening in that particular area? This is the Benyeri area farming community in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region that we received this exclusive detail. What's happening right now? The children and women are fleeing the area, and a number of them displaced. As you see, hundreds of them by the roadside. They are seeking refuge at the police station as we speak. This is just coming through just some few minutes ago, fresh on the plate here on Ghana Tonight. And it's a troubling development in there. And Christopher Marco is our Savannah regional correspondent. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Also, we have Richard Kumado as a security analyst. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Alfred.
Great. And Chris, I'll start off with you. With what we are seeing right now, these videos capturing these children and women who are seeking shelter at the police station there. You were there with them a few minutes ago. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, so Alfred, it's a very pathetic scene to see these children and women lined up on the streets of Sola, trying to move away from the conflict area. Alfred, I must say that these women and children you see did not use the roads leading to their communities to the Sola township. They walked through the bush far away from Sola, around the Gwintiri enclave. And so you can tell that these women actually went through a lot before even getting to the Sola police station. All these women and children are doing is to flee the conflict area to other places that they don't even know people living around those areas. All they are seeking is a place that they will be safe. And Alfred, like you heard from the district chief executive for the Sola Tuna Kalba district, Saka Sinkina, the security men on the ground, even though they are doing their possible best to contain the situation, but their numbers are not encouraging because there are more communities around that area. The conflict has moved from the Bintiri community into other neighboring communities, and so that is how serious it is. The escalation level is high, and more security presence is needed to be able to address the situation as it stands now, Alfred. But most of the people are still in the bushes, and I don't know, but I can tell that expectedly they are going to sleep in the bush this night, women and children.
This is sad, to say the least. And we understand a number of them are fleeing to Ivory Coast?
Yes, some of them are fleeing to Ivory Coast because if you look at the Beniri area, it is very closer to Ivory Coast than to the Solar town. So most of them have fled to the neighboring country to seek refuge. Others have also moved around the Upper West region, which also shares a close border to the Solar Tuna Kalba districts.
I see. And also confirm this to us that the death toll has exceeded 10, as was earlier reported.
Yeah, so yesterday it was 5 that was reported. During the day, at midday, we reported that the death toll was still 5. Later, we got information from security personnel on the ground that the death toll is 10 and could even be more than 10 as a result of the escalation into other neighboring communities.
I see. Chris, stay with me. And this is why I bring in Richard Commodore as well. So, Commodore, I mean, learning this detail and now this death toll, we understand, exceeding the 10 which we earlier reported. This violence, which has displaced the women and children we are seeing on the screen right now, is believed to have been triggered by a protracted land dispute and has persisted despite the deployment of military and police personnel to the area. What should be the most appropriate response to what is happening now?
Looking at the pictures, it's a bit worrying. This is a community security breach, and this is a large scale of insecurity around the affected communities. Safety has been compromised, security has been jeopardized, and it happened at the speed of light. You will need more than just a physical presence of security officers. This is where your NADMO comes in. We do not have the capacity to deploy as quickly as we will want. And it goes back to what I have been saying, that as a nation, our preparedness in managing emergencies will need to be revised and we will need to be looked at it again. If we are more coordinated and we are more prepared in advance, we could rehearse and anticipate such high levels of security risk vulnerabilities and will be prepared. As it is now, the holding area within the Solar police station is very small. You need more numbers to ensure that safety is guaranteed, at least for a night or two. And you also need the social amenities our mothers and aunties and children will need, particularly, to be able to survive these 2 days. So it's back to square one, that as a nation, we will need to look at our preparedness towards managing national emergencies. But above all, who are the owners of this land? And why should a land that belongs to somebody, that somebody bought, will have the tendency of displacing these large numbers of people, creating insecurity and creating high levels of safety breaches for them? Going back to the basics, our tendency to manage issues in this country is getting weakened and weakened by day. Then also, we always keep running away from the truth, and we don't want to face it head on. And to the extent that you do not punish people or persecute people that flout our laws, these are some of the consequences we are likely to get. Because I have always been of the view that non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. What we are seeing tonight, from morning to this evening, is one high level of antisocial tendencies in society.
I see, but then again, this is despite the presence of the military and police there, Mr. Kumalo. So if you talk about the geographical area being too big for the deployment as we have it there, this is happening even in the presence of the police and military there.
Alfred, if you know that whole stretch very well, we are talking about Sola, Tumu, Tana, Bolibamboy, even straight up to Wa Central, and they are crossing it over to Hamlet or to the town our brother, the reporter, mentioned. It's a very vast area. Were they prepared for this? Yes, no. Did they have intelligence in advance? I believe so. But security failure or security operation failure do not necessarily mean that you have intelligence failure. Our lack of coordination and our lack of preparedness in managing national emergencies such as this, is not just bad, but it is poor. And I'm saying that if you are aware of the area we are talking about and how such things can spread as quickly as possible, it might take them by surprise. And the element of surprise is what security officers do not want. We are talking about people in the bush. We are talking about people walking very long distances to get to Sola police station. They see the holding area at the police station to be a safe haven for them. Do the police have the amenities to provide safety and to grant comfort? No, that goes way beyond the military and the police. That falls within the ambience of the NADMO people. The local NADMO do not have capacity, and by the time you move them from Tamale or Wa or to some of Damango back into the area, some level of vulnerabilities would have occurred. So we need to move as quickly as possible to grant them safety for tonight and probably for tomorrow whilst we look for solutions.
I see. And Chris, this is all about, we understand, a protracted land dispute, correct? That's led to this violence and the displacement of these hundreds of women and children we are seeing. Land.
So, Alfred, and it's very unfortunate that this is happening at this time when the people should be in their farms trying to ensure that they get their farms in good shape, weed around, and also to be able to be food sufficient. Unfortunately, from now till probably the time that some relative calm would have been restored in the area, these people who have fled will not be able to go to their farms. And you can tell what will happen in the coming days. But Alfred, let me also just add that the Brifo Youth Association, the Gonjaland Youth Association, and other youth groups within the Savannah region have issued statements calling for calm in the area. First of all, they have also been meeting the various opinion leaders to ensure that they begin the peace drive or the peace talks with them so that some relative calm will return into this area. Particularly, like Mr. Kumado said, they are calling on NADMO to take immediate steps because of the humanitarian issues that will come as a result of this. First of all, these children and women at the Sola police station, the questions are, have they eaten? And how are they going to survive this situation from this night till the next day? And so calls have intensified for NADMO to step in.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Christopher Marco is our Savannah regional correspondent. He is there at this site as we speak. The videos we're seeing, the night videos, came through just about some 30 minutes ago. Mr. Kumado, just as you recommended, we have just received a statement from the Ghana Police Service. This is breaking news coming through right now, fresh on the plate from the Ghana Police Service. There's a statement which you're going to put on the screen right now. They say police deploy reinforcement teams to beef up security at Sola, Binyani, and the surrounding areas following the recent communal clashes in the Savannah region. The The Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with the Ghana Armed Forces and other stakeholders, have intensified security at Sola, Binyeri, Generi, and other adjoining communities in the Savannah region. Police reinforcement teams have been deployed to beef up security and restore calm in the area. The Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete-Yohono, is leading a team from the National Police Headquarters to further assess the security situation and engage with the chiefs, opinion leaders, and other community leaders. And they are urging all parties to remain calm and work with the security teams to ensure lasting peace. So, Mr. Kumado, this development is addressing an aspect of the problem. But the root cause of what we are seeing is a land dispute, a protracted land dispute. What should be done to address this root issue?
Yeah, definitely yes. We thank the IGP for his proactiveness. But what would the police do? Their main objective in such situations is to achieve safety compliance and for security assurances to be guaranteed to the people. Besides that, the police is not in there to deal with the root causes, which is the land dispute. And I have stayed in Upper West Region, West Central, for almost about 10 years. And I have families there. And that whole stretch from Bolebamboy to Hamley has always been my zone. And I'm a little bit saddened this evening. And I think opinion leaders must speak. The church must come in. The traditional chiefs must wake up. Everybody who has something to do with this, we need to look at our face in the face and look at one another in the face and say, we've gotten it wrong. We cannot be killing ourselves. Politics will have to be taken out of this place. And it's a trap. We cannot be killing ourselves because of a land. Somebody owns the land, apart from the shanties where all the lands belong to the stew, which is Ashanti Hini. Lands across the length and breadth of this country are owned by individuals, they are owned by families, and they are owned by clans. It is a time we adopt a new strategy because then guess what? We passed the Land Act, it didn't work. The chieftaincy institution didn't help either. It is time as a nation we change our strategy and our approach in dealing with land ownership and who does whatever with the land. You cannot bastardize a whole large communities because of land. Somebody is not telling the truth. And the police must fish out people who took advantage of this vulnerability and committed crimes against the people. We cannot live with criminals in our society anymore.
Thank you very much. Richard Kumado is a security consultant. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, I have to apologize to those of you who are watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. We lost connection there some 10 minutes ago. Apologies for that. The technical team is working around the clock to restore the connection. But we had a break in the transmission on Facebook and across social media. But we do apologize for that. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, an interagency board led by the Ghana National Security Coordinator with some support from the U.S. investigators have launched a 30-day probe into the deadly Z9 helicopter crash. Well, we have details of this statement after this quick break. Stay with us.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo Paint?
reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News. Leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
into the recent Z9 helicopter crash has officially commenced its work. Now, the announcement was made in a press release dated August 25. That's today. We'll put portions of that on the screen right now. Here's what we do know, that this was under the hand of the acting Defense Minister, Dr. Kasiela Tuforsing, indicating that this board, chaired by the National Security Coordinator, with membership drawn from the Ghana Air Force and the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and the United States of America is also providing advice and assistance to the board through visiting investigators from the U.S. Air Force. The board may also invite other relevant experts and institutions, both local and international, to assist with the investigation. It will also be recalled that on the day of the incident, that's the 6th of August, a preliminary investigation team was constituted to gather all available evidence relating to the crash in support of the board's work. The preliminary investigation team is scheduled to submit its report to the board today. So, all things being equal, it would not be wrong to believe that by this time, this preliminary investigation team have submitted their report already to the board. The investigation board has been mandated to complete their work within 30 days from today. 30 days from today, they're supposed to complete their work. That's according to this statement from Dr. Kasiela Tuforsing, the acting minister in charge of defense and the substantive finance minister of the Republic of Ghana. And this 30-day period, which has been stated in this press statement, is what has also generated some conversation. I recall earlier, I spoke to Professor Kwesi Ejokum. He is a former Air Force pilot, the Ghana Air Force pilot. He is now an associate professor of aeronautics and an aircraft accident specialist. He had indicated that all things being equal, it would take about a year, 1 year, to, if he was also to be involved in any investigation of a sort, to have a full investigation completed about this crash. Let's recall that interview I had with him on Key Point. Take a look.
They will look at, like I stated earlier, the physiological and psychological state of the crew. They will look at Ghana Air Force, our standards, our levels of compliance, and just make sure that they've assembled all this data, because we have organizational influence. We'll look at levels of supervision, preconditions for the flight. If there were some unsafe things, we call it unsafe actions. So things related to training, equipment, was it appropriate for the flight? And then, of course, we'll zone in on the operators themselves. What was the state of mind? And that normally comes by looking at things like fatigue. And so the amount of data that has to be collected by accident investigators, which will be handed over to what we call a board of inquiry. And they will look at all the data, and based on that, the findings will determine the causal and contributory factors. I cannot make a prediction as to whether it will be done in 30 days or in 2 weeks or maybe in 4 months. It's a process that is ongoing, but hopefully, since we are tied almost to Annex 13, I am, in my opinion, envisaging that within a year's time, we should be able to almost zone in on most probable causal and contributory factors.
Within a year, all things being equal?
All things being equal, crossing my hand, hopefully we should be able to get this wrapped up. I know everybody, we want answers now and now and now. But unfortunately, investigators, I get it, the emotions, the anxiety. But one characteristic of every good investigator is that we try to filter out the noise, and then we look at the body of evidence, the corpus of evidence.
That's Professor Kwesi Ejekum. Is a former Ghana Air Force pilot, an aircraft accident specialist, and associate professor of aeronautics there. We'll continue this conversation. In fact, tomorrow we'll marry his position in this 30-day period that has been given to this board. What exactly is their mandate and the terms of reference? We'll get a bit more into it. Join us same time tomorrow. On behalf of the team, we do appreciate your company. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.